So that was a pleasure hearing you play those songs.
Thank you, thank you.
Is it weird playing that stuff in the morning? To me, it's always seemed like great evening
Yes,
evening music.
It is very weird playing it in the morning. Yeah, because we're touring, we're going to bed quite late, and so we're getting up quite late. So this morning was a bit of a shock. We did San Francisco last night, and then we drove down to the night. So an 8 o'clock call, way too early for what we used to. But it's good though. It all feels a bit different early on, but it's good. I was relieved it went well. We're normally rubbish when we do like a radio session. So we nearly always make loads of mistakes, and I dread it, but it went well today.
Yeah, you guys sounded great.
Oh, thank you.
Talk about, I know these are some delayed shows due to the volcano and everything that was going on back in, was it the spring or whatever that was? What's it like now to finally be doing this, and what the reaction must be great from the fans, and it must be fun.
It's a lot better than I expected, I have to say. We were going to do Coachella in April, and added on to that we were going to do a San Francisco show and a Los Angeles show, and they were going to be shows where we played this old Pleasure Principle album, and that all got messed about obviously because of the volcano. So we rescheduled those shows, and there was a lot more interest in it than before, and so it's ended up being like a 3-week tour, which is great for me because I love touring here. And then the first half of the show is Pleasure Principle, which is all obviously old songs, and then the second half is primarily newer stuff, including some brand new songs. And again, I wasn't sure how that was going to work. Were people going to come out to see just the old stuff and hate the new stuff, because it is quite different, or vice versa? With new people coming along that have got into me more recently, through the 9 Inch Nails connection and so on, and hate the beginning of it. So I was really nervous when it kicked off, but it's been great. It's been really, really good, and the show builds and builds, and the reaction to the new stuff has been absolutely fantastic, and the reaction to the old stuff has been equally fantastic. And so I've been very anti-retro for most of my latter career, and I'm beginning to wonder whether I've been a little bit too hard-nosed about it, because here anyway, that there seems to be a real kind of acceptance of it. Where at home, if you sort of wallow in nostalgia for too long, then you're written off. And I actually agree with that. I think that's the right way to go. I think you're only as good as your next album, not one you made 30 years ago. So it's not something that I want to do on a regular basis, but having done it, it's been really good fun.
You know that you're doing, because you have been about looking forward on all your last bunch of records, and you've been making some great music throughout the years for people that maybe haven't listened to what you've been up to. But when you're out there on the stage and you are doing the old stuff, what kind of things go through your heart and mind when you're playing the old songs now, some of which you haven't played?
Well, I for a long time, the Pleasure Principle was an album, for example, I just didn't listen to it for a long, long time, because I am always more interested in what I'm doing tomorrow than what I did yesterday. So it was only when these shows are coming up I started to listen to it a lot more. And the thing that really made a difference to me was last year I did some work with Trent Reznor, with 9 Inch Nails on their goodbye shows here. And every night I would be introduced, and Trent would be talking about how important the Pleasure Principle album was to early 9 Inch Nails. And I would listen at the side of the stage to that, and it just made me think, if someone like that, who I admire enormously, is saying that kind of thing about Pleasure Principle, then maybe I should be a bit kinder towards it as well. So I just started to listen to it again, and I learned to kind of like it again in a way that I hadn't for the last 30 years, and have a certain amount of respect for it. And I just realised that it is actually quite a quirky little album, and take it back 30 years, it must have seemed quite different in its day. And so I've become proud of it in a way that I wasn't before. And I don't know if Trent knows that or not, but a large part of doing it here and having the confidence to do it was because of what he said.
You must also be conscious of the fact that a lot of artists have obviously been inspired by your music and by that album over the years. I don't know how much of that you've heard, how much of that you haven't wanted to pay attention to, but so much of what you've done early on has influenced so many artists.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Has that influenced what you do now? How much do you take that stuff in?
I love it. It's it's very, very flattering, and I'm very, very proud of how many people have done cover versions of it and samples. And it has been a lot of people, and not just from electronic music, from a wide range of genres, which obviously makes me even more proud. I think from a songwriting point of view, it's a real pat on the back. And I am over the moon with it. I'm grateful for it. A certain amount of pressure comes with it, because if you have a reputation for doing something that's sort of innovative or influential, then you're kind of expected to do it again and again, which I would love to do. It would be lovely if in 30 years' time, if I'm still alive, or 80, it would be lovely to think that people were saying that about what I'm doing now, as an ongoing thing. So it's not something that I sit back and think, well, I've done that, I can just rest and be happy now. I will continue to try to do that with every album that I make. But in the meantime, it's lovely that it's being said about that stuff now.